Laurel Bellotti. Candace Wisdom.
Present.
Stan Hartzheim.
Present.
Bria Hammock.
Present.
Jeff White.
Apologies, but I didn't get sound until my name came through, so I was muted and didn't get a chance to respond. This is Laurel Bellotti. I'm present.
Perfect. Mr. President, you have a quorum.
Excellent. Before we get moving too far, or do you have it on the agenda for new board members? Okay, great. Then I'll save it. Let's move to minutes from last meeting. Do I have a motion?
Mr. President, this is Wendy Volk, and I approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Same sign. Motion carries.
We have some new members, Mr. President.
I jumped it. Well, sorry, I was asking if it was later and my brain is jumpy. Yes, I'd like to introduce that we have a new board member. And Bria, would you like to say a few words, introduce yourself? We're really grateful to have you on the board.
Sure, thanks. Yeah, my name is Bria Hammock. It is nice to meet all of you. I own Westward downtown, but I am also an artist and marketing person, I guess, at the end of the day. And so I'm excited to be here to kind of help move downtown forward.
Well, welcome. I think you're a great new board member that understands the downtown and the retail environment, as well as marketing and communications, and very passionate about the downtown for a lot of years. Is a great fit for us. So we're thrilled to have you.
Mr. President, if I might make an announcement as well. So on that note of new board members, I just wanted to remind current and new board members that the terms are 4 years per state statute. And then if a board member misses 3 consecutive regularly scheduled board meetings or 4 within a 12-year period, the board should have a discussion with that board member, just so you all know. I also have one more request that we have a walk-on agenda item for to motion to executive session after this meeting.
Okay. Do I need to get that approved to add it to the agenda?
We will need a motion and a second, and then a majority vote.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I so move. This is Wendy Volk.
Laurel
Motion. Do I have a
Bellotti, second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. So we'll add that to the agenda. Any old business, new business to add? Let's go with the elections. Board elections is the first on the agenda.
Yes. Mr. President, the board elections, these are carried out every year in July annually. The officers will be expected to meet once per month as an executive committee. This is something we discussed in a couple of weeks ago prior, with or without staff, to discuss strategic priorities and how DDA is moving forward. Per the bylaws, each officer will be authorized signers on the DDA accounts, which I will help each officer navigate at Jonah Bank, and will need to be bonded. New officers will assume duties immediately after this election. So the maximum term for any office is 3 years, and I will also read the responsibilities and expectations for each role. And then after each summary, the board will nominate candidates. The nominees will either accept or decline. After nominations are heard, a motion and a second will be made for one candidate, and the board will vote. So first, board president. The president shall preside at all board meetings and public hearings and shall conduct meetings in an orderly and efficient manner. The president shall decide all points of order or procedures that shall transmit reports and recommendations of the board to the city council and the mayor. The president shall also be the first signature for all contracts and other binding written instruments entered by the board. The president will control the meeting, ensure disruptions are handled, and then ensure that the Robert's Rules of Orders are being adhered to.
Control of the meeting feels a little shaky in the description. So we want to take nominations for this seat.
Mr. President, I nominate you as our returning president.
Second, can I second the nomination?
We do not require a second for the nomination.
I don't think so. Any other nominations or interest? Hearing none by default. Take it, Dave Tubner as president. Do you
Mr. President, you need a motion, a second,
vote.
and then a vote.
see what I mean by the control?
Mr. President, I so move.
So we need, okay. Yeah,
Second.
a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Now I'm official. Vice President.
The Vice President shall perform and is authorized to fulfill all duties of the President in the absence of the President.
Mr. President, I would be happy to serve as vice president again.
I'll second. All in favor? Any other interest or nominations for vice president? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We have a vice president. Thank you.
Mr. President, there was a nomination, but not a motion. Would we assume that?
Mr. President, I so move.
Second.
Thank you.
Now I'll move us to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Maybe we just start with a motion when we say it. Secretary.
The Secretary shall be responsible for preparing the minutes of the board meeting and shall be the custodian of the board's records. The Secretary may delegate these responsibilities to a staff representative and shall provide oversight of required custodial duties. So the staff will continue to create the minutes, but moving forward, the staff will send them to the Secretary to review and at the board meetings, and the Secretary will sign once it's approved, along with the board president.
Any interest or nominations for secretary?
I currently serve as the secretary, and I'd be happy to do that.
Do I have a motion or any other interest? I didn't hear any, but I want to double check.
Mr. President, I move we elect Mr. Bao as our new secretary.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Brian. Treasurer?
The treasurer is tasked with providing oversight of the accounting, collection, and distribution of funds. From time to time, the treasurer may request documents, statements, and invoices for the purpose of oversight and reporting to the board. The staff and the CPA will continue to create the financial reports, but moving forward, we will send them to the treasurer to review and present to the board meetings. And then once they are approved by the board, the treasurer will sign with the president.
Thank you. Any interest, nomination, and treasurer?
While I currently serve in this position, I would gladly allow somebody else to take it if somebody else is interested.
Okay, thank you.
This is Stan Hartzheim. I'll gladly volunteer for that role.
Any other interest?
Mr. Chair, I move we approve Stan as our new treasurer.
Second.
I have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Stan. Okay, we're going to move to conflict of interest.
So these are new. These have not been signed previously. As I learned, we're developing more things. So per the DDA bylaws and to approve it, to provide additional insurance for compliance as a public board, each DDA board member and staff member will be required to sign a conflict of interest form annually. So you have forms in front of you. They're also available online. If you'd prefer to fill them out in person, you can hand them to me later or download them as long as I get them by the next board meeting.
Great. Any questions with any of that? Straightforward. Okay, moving to the next agenda item is the 26th financial.
Mr. President, the June 2026 financial report, the total assets as of June 30th was $1,591,442.71. The net income for June pretty dizzy, was the $30,628.09. That includes the May mill levy payment, which was $36,256.32. We have approximately 702 days of operating expenditures, which is well above the 60-day requirement. For grants and sponsorship commitments, we did not have any payouts during the month of June, but we did pay out the Children's Museum in July, so that will be reflected on next month's report. We have some sidewalk grants where agreements have been signed, some have been signed, some are waiting to be signed. And that is why you don't see that reflected on this match program. They will still be committed until probably September or so when the work is completed. As a reminder, this report will need to be signed by the president and the treasurer, which is now Mr. Hartzheim.
Great. Open it up to questions. Hearing none, do we have a motion?
I so move.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Boardroom, we got an application. Boardroom.
Mr. President, this is a facade improvement grant application from the boardroom to install a new entryway door on the north side of the building due to expansion of the business's footprint. The applicant is here to present, and staff will present recommendations afterwards.
Great. Thank you. You want to join us? Welcome. If you can just state your name and tell us about your project.
Morning. My name is Jamie. I own the boardroom downtown. I have nothing formal to present. I put together a presentation, which is in the staff report. But we are fortunate enough to expand into the north side of our space where the pharmacy previously resided. They moved out in January of this year. And we just have the best landlord that we could ask for. And he's just been super supportive of us taking over the additional space. He has always been adamant about having retail on the corner of 18th and Cary. He's owned the building for 40 some years. And that's kind of his dream, is just to continue with retail on that corner. So with his support, we are working to expand into that space to offer additional seating to our customers. If any of you have been in the boardroom during a busy time, it is extremely crowded. I think we only have about 14 seats for people to sit in. So it gets pretty wild in there in our small space. So our goal is to expand into that north side of the space, offer additional seating, a very comfortable living room environment. We're also planned to have a conference room where people could reserve during the day if they needed a more private area to meet. We get a lot of feedback from realtors that they can't have sensitive conversations while they're having coffee because of the small space. So we're hoping to offer an environment for people to have a more private conversation. So with that, just the building itself, we wanted an option to leave the space on that side. We're going to still filter people into the boardroom side where our counter and kitchen currently are. And then it'll just kind of be a horseshoe the way the building is. And we'll horseshoe people around for the seating, and then they can exit from that side. So yeah, the additional door will just give an extra egress option for our guests. So.
Great. Thank you.
Any questions?
Congratulations on an expansion.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
In the downtown. Any questions from?
I just want to say thank you for doing business in downtown, and we're glad to have you be in our boundary of the Downtown Development Authority. And I'm delighted that you submitted an application. This is what we're about. And we really appreciate you applying and putting in the hard work. It's not always an easy process, but we're always improving that. And I think we have over the last 10 years really streamlined that process, and kudos to our staff. So thank you for applying.
You bet. Thank you.
I have just one question, Mr. President, through you. I just have one question. Is this, I guess I'm confused by the project. Is this an additional door to the one that's currently on the corner or a replacement of the door that's on the corner? And if it's a replacement, what's wrong with the door that's there now?
Good question. It is an additional door. If you're familiar with so where you enter, where it says the new Boyd building right there, our little entrance is to the left. The double doors that go straight into that, I guess, breezeway entryway, that goes into the upstairs. So that goes into the elevator shaft that would take you to second through sixth floors. Currently on the right-hand side of that little breezeway, it's just a glass, which is, it's got a film on it like mirrors. So we just basically would remove that glass and make an entryway to that side. The corner entrance remains. But again, if you're familiar with downtown and the wind speeds that we get through those downtown streets, the wind whips around that corner and it makes it virtually impossible to get that door open some days on that corner entrance. So I think this will provide a little bit of a wind shelter to get in and out there.
Thank you for the clarification.
Staff report on.
Yes, Mr. President, so this is a facade improvement grant request. The applicant has presented that they are expanding, which is fantastic news. We believe, the total project cost is estimated at $4,035. This would be classified as a level 3 restoration and enhancement improvement per the facade improvement grant program, which would qualify for 65% reimbursement. And therefore, it would be a total grant award of $2,622.75. The staff analysis found the project meets all of the required review criteria, supporting downtown development and business recruitment, publicly visible from Cary Avenue in the right of way, helps prevent blight, and also aligns with the DDA's plan of development and intent of the FIG program. It also satisfies the constitutional requirement around the use of public mill levy funds. The one note we did have, and this is on the staff report, is that we would require a letter of authorization from the property owner stating that they had the authority to make these changes, which we did receive from the condo association. The legal structure is a little different than usual, but it's acceptable for that purpose. And so staff does recommend the approval of the $2,622.75.
Great. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the facade improvement grant application for 1722 Cary Avenue, also known as the Boardroom, for up to $2,622.75, which is approximately 65% of the cost of installing a new entryway door, and the contingency that the letter of authorization is signed by the property owner and applicant.
Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. Okay, we have another one, Wellness Collective.
Mr. President, this is a capital improvement grant application to install a new awning at the entryway of the Wellness Collective at 306 West 15th Street. The applicant is here to present the project, and staff will present recommendations afterwards.
Great, welcome.
Going
Please
through.
state your name, sorry, in the record.
My name is Misty Peterson. I'm the owner of Wellness Collective. It's a Pilates, yoga, massage, and aesthetic studio on 15th Street. And as you see, we have very large windows in the very front, and we are south facing, and all traffic is east and west. So we've asked the owner of the building if we could take a look at getting an awning for a couple reasons. It helps the aesthetic of the building. It also protects our clients because we don't have much space as they walk in, as we exchange classes because we're running 12 hours a day. And it would allow students to actually stand outside if there's rain or hail and be protected. It also protects the windows. And then when you look east and west down 15th Street, a lot of people don't even know that we're there. So that awning would really help like escalate that there are other businesses on 15th Street. And then it allows us to have the framework to put our logo, so our logo can actually be seen east and west, so they know where we're at. So we've also had people say that our Google Maps drops them off at the depot, not down on 306 West 15th. So we're very hopeful that this will help us and help the downtown, so more people actually travel up and down on 15th Street.
Great. Thank you. Let's do the staff report. Maybe stay put in case we have any questions to follow after the staff report.
Mr. President, so yes, this is the capital improvement grant request for an awning. The building is a historic red brick commercial structure built around 1917. It is listed as a contributing structure on the National Register of Historic Places. It has retained much of its original character, including the original windows, door, and clerestory. Planning and development staff has reviewed the awning design and does find it compatible with the building's historic character, and recommended it be installed in a reversible way that doesn't permanently damage the historic materials if possible. The total project cost is $4,274.04, and this is a CIG request, which means it's a 50-50 match program, and therefore the award the applicant is asking for is $2,137.02. Staff analysis found that the project satisfies all review criteria as well, supporting business development and recruitment, contributing to maintenance and visual enhancement of the public right-of-way, and aligning with the plan of development, as well as constitutional requirements for mill levy funds. Only one contractor bid was submitted, so if the board has the board has the option to request a second bid if desired, or to grant an exception given the limited contractor availability for this. As with the previous item, the applicant is not the property owner and would require a letter of authorization from the owner for grant approval, which we have received. And so staff recommends approving the CIG application for up to $2,137.02, or up to 50% of the costs.
Thank you for the staff report. Now, any questions from the board?
Thank you. This is Wendy Volk, Mr. Chair. And I just wanted to say thank you also for, again, choosing downtown for a place of business. I just got a gift certificate to come for having a massage, so I'm very excited. But I also know it is hard to get two bids for awning providers right now, as I am trying to replace 8 awnings on a property, and there is only one provider right now. And so I do think an exception should be made on having 2 bids.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Mr. Chair.
Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the capital improvement grant CIG application for 306 West 15th Street, also known as Wellness Collective, for up to $2,137.02, which is 50% of the cost of installing a new awning.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Congratulations. Thank you for your investment in downtown. All right. Next item is Girls' Day Out in August. I have an employee, so I need to state a conflict of interest, I believe. And so I can still run through it. I'll just abstain. I don't vote anyway. Do I need to hand it to, sorry for the parliamentary question, but do I need to hand it to Vice Chair to run through this as a conflict?
Mr. President, that is a good question. I know you need to recuse yourself and not have any discussion or vote on it. Perhaps for the to be safe.
Let's do it the safe way. So Wendy, can I hand you the gavel, if you will? And yes.
Gavel received.
So I recuse and step out.
Okay.
We still have quorum? Okay, thank you.
All right. Let's take the next item.
Okay, Madam Vice President, the next item is an event sponsorship program request from Sun and Stone Collective for the 2026 Girls' Day Out event scheduled for August 29th, 2026. Former Operations and Projects Coordinator Cass Raffa reached out to the organization regarding the DDA's event sponsorship program. This event is part of a series and is similar in scope to the following agenda item, Before we proceed, I would like to ask the board if you would prefer to hear both sponsorship requests together or consider them separately.
In the interest of time, let's hear them together.
Okay, perfect. So the applicant is here to give more information and answer questions.
Good morning. Good morning. I guess it's Vice President Volk. Thank you. I was prepared to say President Tubner, but good morning to you too, Dave. Good morning, Vice President Volk, members of the board. My name is Leisha McIntyre. I am, and with me today is, and with me today is Andrea Williams. Okay, let me start over. She is my Girls Day Out partner, and I am the founder of Sun and Stone Collective, as the staff stated. I met Andrea several years ago. We worked at a really fun project called Edge Fest. I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but we worked together to build the vendor booth area at the event, and have really kind of enjoyed working together on fun little side projects. So she was my first person to call, and I'm going to let her introduce herself and speak to her expertise in this area as well.
Vice President Volk and members of the board, thank you for having us. My name is Andrea Williams. My day job, I work at Warehouse 21 as the Associate Media Director. And I have a history of working on vendor events with Edge Fest. I was with Simplicity 07 for a time, and I have my own small business where I attend vendor events as a vendor.
Okay, so with your permission, I'd like to just start with a brief overview of what Girls Day Out is, and then begin our 5-minute presentation, which we would be happy to entertain questions. So Girls Day Out was kind of a brainchild of me desperately looking for a good place to vend and sell with Sun and Stone Collective. Sun and Stone Collective makes handmade jewelry. It's a very saturated market to sell jewelry, and especially handmade jewelry. And so most of my sales come from in-person events. Looking for in-person events in Cheyenne is kind of a difficult thing. There aren't a whole lot of options besides craft fairs at elementary schools or big, huge convention center style booths down at the ranch in Colorado. And I was tired of spending so much money on events in Colorado, or not having any events during kind of off seasons, right? Like there's tons of options for Valentine's Day, Thanksgiving, the main dates, but nothing in the off season like spring. And so I was like, you know what? Darn it, I'm going to just make one myself. And then I'll invite all my besties that all sell stuff as well, and we'll have a cool time and an event. So that's how Girls Day Out was born. And I am not a great marketing person. So I reached out to Andrea and I was like, yo, I need your help. And so that's how we started this partnership to build this event into something that it turned into. We'll share in our presentation. Andrea will talk a little bit about our successes and all the things that came from that event. But that's where Girls Day Out came from. So it's an event downtown. There's a lot of vendors. It brings a lot of attendees in. There's fun things to do. And that's kind of where we are today. So with that, I'll hand it over to Andrea, and she can talk a little bit about our presentation.
All right, I'm a little shorter. So as Leisha mentioned, she just wanted to create an event that was different, something that Cheyenne doesn't really have. So in doing that, it was not just another craft show, it was really bringing in services. So providing mini facials, mini manicures, really more experiences for people, and curated vendors. So a really unique event, and just Girls Day Out. Great name. All right. Oh, I'm running it. My bad. Okay. Nope. Okay. So, wanting to think about how we run this event. We're really passionate about doing it downtown. We know that downtown has this really unique vibe. People love coming down here. It has a culture. And so we really wanted to lean into that, when we were talking about how do we fit all these vendors in the venues that are downtown. It is a challenge, but we're really passionate about keeping it downtown. So we just wanted to highlight some of those economic and cultural benefits. We also are leaning into partnerships with downtown businesses. So for our first event, we teamed up with a couple different downtown businesses to provide goodie bags to be vendors at the event. We had Prairie Rose there. They had a DIY bouquet bar. So a lot of fun things happening there. Again, we're just really passionate about choosing those downtown venues and supporting those creative entrepreneurs. Women-owned businesses is kind of our passion, but obviously we would open it up to anyone. And then just building a signature downtown event, just making it something that happens a couple times throughout the year that people look forward to and mark on their calendars every year to come back to. Okay, let's see if I can figure this out. There. So even though it's called Girls Day Out, it is an all-inclusive event. So our first event, we did see a lot of dads bringing their daughters. We saw women bringing their husbands. Actually, we had a lot of husbands bringing their wives. You know what? I want to bring my wife to this because this is really cool. My first sale was a man. And I do pearl reveals. So he bought an oyster and a pendant, and he said, I'm going to save it for when I meet somebody someday. I'm going to keep it in my car on the rearview mirror. So that was really cool. So we're just really about creating those connections, those relationships. We had a lot of moms, daughters, generations coming, 3 generations. We came, we told the husband to stay at home. We're going to the Girls' Day Out. And then we do want to keep it free and accessible. That is important to us. And, right now we're just kind of funding it on our own. So keeping it free and accessible to everyone would become a little bit harder without the support of some additional funds. Okay, there we go. So our first event was in April, and we saw between 1,400 to 1,500 people. The event started at 9 with yoga. We had people coming in around 9:30. Even prior to that, it made the yoga a little bit more challenging as it was getting kind of loud in there. But I mean, we just had tons of people in there. It was a super successful day. Many of our vendors saw better sales than they have seen at a very popular Christmas craft show. And most of them sold out 1 to 2 hours prior to the event even ending. We did have one vendor from Colorado that is actually looking at opening a retail location in downtown Cheyenne. She said, I think there's a market here for what I do, and I want to explore this possibility. And then really just leaning into those relationships, we teamed up with Barrett Creek Coffee in the depot where we held the event, and they made really fun drinks that were our Flamingo Girls Day Out vibe. We had people bringing in snacks. So it was a lot of fun. Again, Prairie Rose and our goodie bags from Westward were sponsored from Westward. Oh, geez. All right. So talking about our upcoming events, we have the August 29th event. Again, we're really into the fun themes, shop, sip, and be flocking fabulous because that's just who we are. So we really want to expand our yoga and Pilates. Like I said before, we had it kind of the hour prior to the event, which was challenging because it had to be in the depot because, it was April. So since this is an August event, we have reserved the depot square. So we're going to use the tents that are out there. We spoke to Jason about this, and he's perfectly fine with leaving those up for us to do yoga and Pilates throughout the day. And then we want to really lean into more of those downtown partnerships and just look at more of that enhanced guest experience. We did about 60 grab bags. They were gone within 2 minutes. So really being able to provide more grab bags and more interactive experiences. Oh, it's still me. So again, like I said, our investment right now is either coming from the vendor fees that we are collecting or just our own pockets and time. So that's where we're really looking to the DDA to help us elevate the event, put some money towards marketing. Our first event, we spent about $150 on marketing and we saw a huge turnout. I don't like to promote that too much because that makes it seem like my job really isn't that necessary. But yeah, we had a crazy, huge success. I spent $75 on Facebook ads. And for the first time ever, Facebook was like, we couldn't spend that budget. Do you want to extend the amount of time this is running? Because it was so successful. So with that, we are asking the DDA for $6,000. Still me. So looking ahead, we are also doing a November 14th event. We are wanting to do this one at the Met. We're just wanting to do, again, a curated holiday shopping experience, those services, bringing people in for those mini facials, kind of a girls' night out, if you will, have live music, and then just kind of have a really fun venue at the Met and have food and drinks and make it just a really fun time. So with that, we are asking the DDA for $6,000 for that to help us with the cost of the venue, marketing, and our music. So in exchange for if we were to get a sponsorship today, we would do pre-event recognition, the DDA logo on our event graphics, social media, digital marketing graphics, and shout outs. We would do email communications and print marketing materials. Our day of recognition, we would have on-site signage, vinyl banners, an opportunity to provide any promotional materials and recognition throughout the event, and then the post-event reporting. Let's give them something to flock to. Thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you for that. And kudos to coming up with a creative and new thing to draw people to downtown. So that's awesome. Any questions, comments from people on the board?
Madam Vice President, first a comment. I had the opportunity to attend the event back in the spring and it was fabulous. It definitely, everything that these folks said, was just a different experience that Cheyenne has not had and needed to have. So just wanted to add my congratulations and excited to see you guys back here with that. I think my one question in terms of marketing budget, et cetera, it was busy. The space was full. And so if you're going to be putting more money into marketing, what's the plan to kind of maybe spread out the event, make sure that that's, we're not getting too many Cheyennites in the space, I guess.
So with our August event, we will be able to expand out onto the plaza and onto the sidewalk in front of the depot, the back patio. I know the depot folks are pretty excited about utilizing that space. So we will be able to expand our footprint. And we have talked about like having different things at different times. Like this last one, we had some high schoolers that came and played a string ensemble during the first part. And then we had Mike Morris in the afternoon. So we tried to kind of push like, hey, if you want to come and hear Mike Morris, like he's on at 1. So just to kind of get people excited to come at different times.
Excellent. Good question. Yes, Ms. Candace.
Madam Chair, through you, I would be more concerned again with crowding because it seems like you guys did a very successful event. And I anticipate with your dedication that it will become even more popular. I'm concerned with the amount of space at the Met. So if August is as successful as you anticipate, do you guys have some contingency plans for expanding out on the holiday one?
So for the holiday one, if we were to get the grant, we would do it by reservation. So people would need to sign up. We could, we would have to cap it at a certain number. So there is that one, just because it is a venue that can only have so many.
And something to think about is I think she is the oldest downtown, not oldest, but the longest duration retailer in downtown Cheyenne is Virginia Dandy with Just Dandy. And when male retailers told her she would not succeed in the 1970s as a female retailer, she was able to prove a lot of those retailers who have now gone out of business or closed their businesses. So she's right next door to the Met. And she's been wonderful when I wanted to collaborate on bringing down groups of individuals. That might be something talking to her about spillover potential space of, it would help support other businesses nearby the metropolitan. There's other retailers there that might also then jump on that bandwagon. Cowgirls of the West is normally closed at the wintertime, but again, they're across the street. So I think any type of collaboration on that retail corridor would be terrific.
Love that idea. Thank you.
Mr. Stan.
And just another comment on the Met itself. So in the package that you guys all have, the very last page is our layout from the depot. So the depot is a very unique space, but it is also a lot like odder to go around each individual corner and walls, and then some existing Visit Cheyenne footprints that cannot be moved and things like that. The depot itself is 40 feet by, let me do some quick math, 10, 10, 50, 10, 10, so 90. So, but that, cuts out a whole back corner. If you look at the map here, that place where we have the bar, all of that is Visit Cheyenne. We couldn't put anybody there. And then of course the coffee shop is a whole bunch of space that we couldn't put anybody in. So the Met ballroom, I just want to make clear, we're using the Met ballroom area for the event, not the Met restaurant. So the attached adjacent part of the building, we would get the whole facility, which is 90 feet by 40 feet. So the same as the depot, except that we won't have all those extra bump outs that we can't get around. Plus they call it the vestibule, which is another like 20 by 30 space right there.
Question.
Thank you so much for putting on Madam Vice President, through you. Thank you for putting on such a wonderful and creative event. I really like, I like the mindset behind it, right? The creativity is on point. I just have a couple of questions. One, what other sources of funding or grants are you seeking or looking into? And does that create, I don't want to use, I'm not trying to sound negative, but does it create a conflict on the level of marketing, the logoing, things like that you're mentioning that would be available to the DDA if we were to fund that?